Well, tonight, President Biden delivers this third State of the Union address. The stakes could not be higher with the general election just months away.
His job approval numbers now are very low, and the president, really to recover, has to deliver a strong message. Alice Barr has more on how tonight could really set the tone for his re-election bid.
In tonight's State of the Union, President Biden has the rare chance to speak directly to millions of Americans as both commander-in-chief and candidate, one of the groups he needs to reach most: young voters.
Hey guys, I just went on NBC to save our democracy.
Look what I said.
These Gen Z and millennial content creators will be asking lawmakers questions right before State of the Union.
I think it's really important to talk about reproductive freedoms. After Roe versus Wade was overturned, a lot of people were left with no protections.
They use their enormous social media followings to encourage young people to get involved in their democracy.
Once we do, then we're unstoppable. You know, I think we're the most vocal generation.
We have the power. We're just not utilizing it.
One key issue for young voters: U.S. support for Israel in the war in Gaza.
There's something very horrible, horrendous happening, and I believe this administration can do a lot more about that.
President Biden set to announce tonight that the U.S. military will lead emergency efforts to construct a port on Gaza's coast to get more humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians. He'll also address negotiations to free Hamas-held hostages and support for Ukraine, while focusing heavily on the economy, reproductive rights, and protecting democracy. In a new video, President Biden's 2024 rival, former President Trump, attacking the president and his policies, especially on immigration.
We cannot take it any longer as a country.
The country will be watching as President Biden delivers a critical speech heading into the general election. After some outbursts last year, House Speaker Mike Johnson has urged his fellow House members to be respectful tonight. Another thing to watch: the invited guests who tend to signal important issues tonight, including a focus on reproductive rights as well as Israeli hostage families. From Capitol Hill, Alice Barr, NBC News.
You might recall there were some outbursts during this address last year, and so House Speaker Mike Johnson really has urged his fellow House members to be respectful during the address tonight. And another thing to watch when you're tuning in: the invited guests. They signal important issues tonight, and they include a focus on reproductive rights as well as Israeli hostage families.